You just missed it, man. I was just throwing up brick after brick after brick after brick. Then the camera rolled.
I'm not good at playing basketball.
I don't believe you are not good at anything.
No, I'm not good at basketball.
Come on, I don't believe you for a second.
I wish I had your accent.
Sounds like you're hustling me. Wish I had your accent.
No, I sound f***ing like a goober.
So the suicide doors out there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I had a panic attack when I bought that car.
I bet you did.
Yeah, it freaked me out because I've never bought anything like that before.
Yeah.
And this, not to flex, but this Rolex.
Yeah, that's L.
I've never got a piece of jewelry and I never got a fast car. And then one day I woke up and looked at my bank account and was like.
So, okay, because I always wonder about this. Like when you come into some money, which by the way doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, no.
It does take time. But when you come into some money, which is that moment, that moment, do you go to a ATM? Do you go online? Do you how do you know? When you see that number in your bank account, you're like, that's life-changing money.
No, well, for me, the life-changing money, when I first signed my deal, I signed and it was the advance was $200 grand.
Yeah.
So going from Section 8 and food stamps and welfare to $200 grand was
life-changing money.
Life-changing. But the life-changing I'm talking about is $30 million deal I just signed.
Yes.
That
yes.
Freaked me out because I was I felt like a target. I felt like I don't know. That was the moment where I was like, oh my God.
I felt like a target, so I talk about it a lot on my new record.
I know, right? I was like, yeah.
My favorite is the line when you go, I told Def Jam no less than 30 million, and they cut that shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The excitement is so palatable when you're saying that.
But that's why I think for me, it's like I said, I woke up and I realized how much money I had amassed. It's not necessarily about things monetarily, but it's about when you think about success. And I woke up and was like, oh, I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life.
Just it.
Now I want to make music and have fun.
Oh, beautiful.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to have a really good time. And that's why I even feel like the transition from the last album, which talked about so much serious topics, to now just being able to just have a good time.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I can rap. Everybody knows I have something to say. But now it's let's just turn up.
There's an interesting contradiction that permeates throughout your albums as you continue to become more successful monetarily, professionally, personally. And that is that you wear it like a badge of honor, but equally you'll follow up almost immediately afterwards and say, but it's not the source or the solving of all your problems. Yeah. And that's an interesting position to be in, right? Because you'll be like, I got 30 million in the bank, holy shit. But hold up, it's not all about that.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that's like to actually live in that environment because you project it on your music, so you gotta live it.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's growing up, I lived in a box rather than this place, which is insane.
And did you ever imagine this place? Was it part of your goals?
Fam, no. I didn't even think about that. I thought more so about just trying to make it. Forever for me, it was about trying to make it and becoming a known person and, loved or revered in music and hip hop and the culture. But then I actually realized that isn't even really important. What's mainly important is just the fans and the connection that you have as a man and an artist.
And what album did you come to that conclusion? At what point during your recording career did you realize that it was how you represented yourself as a person rather than as an artist?
Everybody. Because once I did Everybody, I realized, because there's so many people that hate that album, and there's people who love that album.
Interesting.
But I've realized that's just the way it is. No matter what you do, people are going to love it or they're going to hate it. So that's one thing that's really difficult as an artist is dude, you got to, honestly, you just have
block
to say,
that out.
Yeah, but you got to say everybody.
Yeah,
and even, in a way, the people who love and enjoy your music, because it's if you keep trying to do the same thing over and over, it's
you're trying to catch a tiger by the tail. It's it'll never work. And the reason that we're having this conversation at this moment in time, I'd have it any time, but we've got this new Tarantino project which has just dropped, which is exciting. And you work hard every day, every motherfucking day.
I enjoy a nice scotch. I'm pushing 30. That's so weird to think, but it's I enjoy a nice scotch or
I smoke weed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was YOLO, but especially now in California, it's so great.
Because you're so transparent and you're honest sometimes about the contradiction that you put across, the money thing, or, I don't smoke weed, I'm not really into that. Oh, I do smoke weed, I smoke cigarettes, I don't want to smoke cigarettes. You're living your life in process and you're opening that up to all of us, and I respect that. Yeah. And, I just think it's interesting that you can get to a point and say, you know what, maybe I've changed my tune. Maybe I do smoke weed.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, for a long time I didn't smoke. And that was my thing. I don't smoke and I don't drink, but it wasn't that I was straight edge or it was just that's just where I was. And now as a grown man, but I was also scared about, because my family and the drug addiction and alcoholism that's literally in my blood, that always scared me. It really, really scared me.
Because you were exposed to that at a really early age, right?
No, I mean, super young.
In the house.
In the house, cooking crack.
Go time.
Yeah, like crazy. And that's the other thing that I think is so funny about me, especially in like hip hop or credibility or whatever, is like the way I look. But it's like I lived that life. Like I was in it, I saw it, and never once did I ever even think about trying to glorify that, especially towards the youth.
Did that make it frustrating for you at times, knowing that really you had as much of a right to tell a story that was as real and as relevant in modern day America, or in fact all over the world, as anybody, and yet people looked at you and they made assumptions?
Of course, but that, I mean, that's just how I look, man. But that's America more than anything, you know. It's like we look at people, we judge a book by its cover. It just is what it is. Like, bro, fam, I represent peace, love, positivity. You know what I mean? I'm the underdog. I came from nothing. It's like, motherfuckers should love me, but they still hate me, and that's okay.
A lot of people love you. But you, again, according to your story, you must have had to have done some either real self-rehabilitation or had some people on the way to help you come out of that, because when you grow up in the kind of environment that you've documented on your records, you don't just make a transition into this place with that attitude.
Wow. God damn, this is why you do this job. I always say it was like common sense and God, and then like good people in my life. Growing up, you know, my mentor Solomon, Mary Jo and Bernie, like my godparents, my friends, Big Limbo, who let me sleep on his couch. And, you know, I was 19 years old, homeless. This man let me live with him, sleep on his couch. I was supposed to get a job. We had a serious conversation, and I'm basically like, yo, just give me 1 year.
To make
and
music.
he was a land surveyor for 12 years. And so he was like out measuring all this stuff, rain, sleet, snow, back in Maryland, freezing cold.
Yeah, putting in the work.
Exactly. And almost a year to the day, I signed my deal to Def Jam, told him to quit his job, and said, we're coming to LA, man, we're gonna do this.
I love that story.
Yeah, so it's like, I think what that is, it's just like, I've been so blessed along this journey to meet incredible people that have always like, would never be scared to like check me and be like, yo, chill, or, you know, you should be focused on this or do this more. But even myself, there was this voice deep down that was like, don't go turn up, don't go to the party, don't go this.
I think it's even deeper for you because the success that you've had in the last 12 months is and rightfully so, circulates around a song and a message, which means a lot to many, many people.
Yeah.
So when you think about it that way, it's not like you've had a smash with a club banger.
Yeah.
You've come out and had a smash with something that people needed in their lives, and so they probably look to you to some degree with an even deeper.
Way deeper. And that's what I love. When people come, like I said, you have your certain people who just know, like Logic, like, you know, that's the rapper guy, like whatever. But a majority of the people come up to me in
say
like,
thank you.
Yeah, say thank you, or they're in tears, like crazy. Like I went to this spot the other day and I just walk in and then this kid just, you know, he's like 24 years old, just starts crying to me, you know, and I'm just like, God damn, this is amazing. Like I would rather have this any day of the week. And I, you know, thinking back to like my first album, like literally I was in the studio like trying to make kind of like club bangers and I was just so confused. And like now as a 28-year-old man, it's like, I'm so happy I didn't have a hit record until it was that record. I'm happy that it was that record because like now the whole world knows who I am. They know what I represent. They know the message, the motto, peace, love, positivity.
And, you know, the timing now feels like more and more people wanted to have that conversation and that dialogue.
I think they did. I was really scared to make this album and to make this song, Goddamn This Son. Because I didn't want to talk about it, you know? So it's like, for me, it's even deeper than just 1-800, like everybody as a whole, the whole album.
I wondered, like, how scared you must have been making that record.
I was terrified,
Didn't you
man.
make it in like 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's pretty much how everything works. Like,
Yeah.
Bobby Tarantino's like a week. Like, it just kind of happens.
But I can imagine in that 3 weeks, you're just like, you got to get it out, otherwise you might second guess yourself to some degree.
100%. I mean, I remember calling Killer Mike, and it was the height of, I mean, I don't want to say this because to me every day is the height of this, but like Black Lives Matter and the movement and what was going on in the community and what wasn't being addressed and what wasn't being talked about. And I was like, I felt like I have all this power and a voice and I want to say something about that and about, you know, women who are being sexually abused and assaulted and people's mental health and anxiety and depression. I just like, there's people saying this, but not on like a mainstream level. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be able to just say this. But at the same time, I didn't. And I called him and I was like, I don't want to do this, but I feel like I have to do this.
What did he say?
He was like, brother, you got to do whatever you got to do. And he said it just like that. And he said, you cannot be scared to make an album that is preaching about love and equality and the acceptance of one another based on the opinions of other people. He's like, you can't let them stop you. And I was like, Goddamn, you're right.
Like it's all there now on that record. Like once you go there, once you tell your life story to the degree, like my son, I'll tell you straight up, my 11-year-old son, who you know, both my kids love your music, but my 11-year-old is just a super, super fan. And he said, oh, you're gonna talk to Logic today? He said, can you ask him if that story about him being kidnapped and all the things that he went through was true?
Yeah,
because to him, he was desperate to know that there was truth to this.
There's truth to every single thing that I write. You know, like us as rappers, we like flex and we say fun stuff or this or that or whatever. But for me, like especially when documenting my life or the things that I've gone through, I mean, that's why even like not to bring it up because I don't even want to talk about it a lot because it's like a meme on the internet now. But like just even my race, like I'm so proud to be who I am and to have all these people try to tell me that I can't be this or I can't. Oh,
yours?
No, that's my engineers. You got that dog?
He's like, what?
It's like, no, it's not me.
What?
Thank you. Goddamn. In the icy whites, too.
Yeah, I got you.
But you know, people try to tell me, like, oh, you shouldn't be proud, or you're not this, or you aren't that, or whatever the hell. And I'm just kind of here to say, like, who is anybody else to tell me who I am, or what I've gone through, or what I haven't gone through? You know what I mean? Like, I've experienced a lot of really, really terrible things. Like, as a child, like, insane. Like literally I've been through pretty much every single thing you could go through when it comes to like pain and despair besides sexual assault. But that's why I'm so happy that I could write this album because there's so many things like every perspective that I was rapping from or singing from, or it's like, you know, if I'm talking about, you know, this single strong, beautiful black woman with 3 children trying to support herself and go to college and get her degree. And it's like, these are people in my life.
But you did that, gang related was that?
As well, yeah, with my brothers,
back.
yeah. But it's different when you're like not popping like that, and then when everybody's watching you, then they dissect everything you say even more. You know what I mean? So it's
when did you feel comfortable after you finished Everybody? When did you actually realize that you could live with that body of work? I know you wouldn't have put it out unless you did, but there must have been a fear leading up to release.
I never felt comfortable about it. I still don't. You know, just like I feel comfortable with myself. I'm happy with me and what I represent. But it's just like there's people. It's opinions, man. Like what I'm learning, especially as I get older, is like we're all just a bunch of fucking kids in kindergarten. No matter what people say about you, like people are always gonna talk shit about you, especially if you're hot.
Should we go in here and take a look in here?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this isn't the main house. The main house is over there, but this is like your creative outhouse.
This is like what I really love. Actually, hold on. If you come in here, let's like break the fourth wall.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, that's long broken.
So this is my creation station.
Oh yeah, this is like a little kind of like pop culture museum up in here.
Yeah.
This is like standing inside the brain of Logic.
No, like straight up, dude. This is where I break down my weed. And yeah, like I'll read here. This is where I wrote my novel. I wrote my novel in here. And then, this piano. I love this piano.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Is it in tune?
Let me like.
Do you write on here? Can you play?
Cover this up. Say what?
Can you play?
Yeah, I can play.
Are you self-taught?
Well, my buddy RK, he teaches me.
Okay. What's the nerdiest thing you've got in here? What's the thing that you think is like the deepest object that you have in here, which makes you smile every time you look at it?
I don't know. I really like my fake Rockefeller chain that I bought for $15 on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so light.
I know. I wanted a Rockefeller chain. Jay, send me one. But yeah, all this stuff. Like I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
There's my Tarantino and the Pulp Fiction.
So you met him?
Not yet, bro.
What?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams said that he's going to introduce me.
Well, how much more?
I didn't mean to flex like that.
No, flex.
My bad.
Flex.
Hold on, let me pick up that name I just dropped. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. That's crazy to me because you've been so vocal about that, and I know that you manifest destiny. I'm a big believer in it. And I know you visualize and draw that energy towards you, so it's got to happen.
You know what I want to do is act in one of his films.
One of his films.
One day.
We talked a little bit before about the 3 artists that whose hands you have shaken.
Yeah.
And who joined you on this record. What is it about Wiz? Why did you decide to work with him? And
I've always wanted to work with Wiz. Like,
you didn't get the laugh though.
I didn't get the laugh, dog. So I was like, I'm gonna do the laugh. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a good version of it.
Yeah, but ever since like Kush and OJ, dog. Like
that's like working with Kanye and not getting a
Yeah, no, straight up. Yeah, no, I need that. But yeah, no, it was like that was incredible, and I've honestly every year have had conversations about like wanting to work with Wiz. Like, you know, I'm talking to like my managers or this before we like really knew each other and all types of stuff. And I've always wanted to work with him, but I also didn't want to force it. I didn't want to, you know, just make a turn up song just to do or this or that. And then I started smoking the flower just a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is what this is about. You know what I mean? I'm just like listening to the music and vibing. And then I came up with that title, Indica Badu.
Yeah, which
and
I
was
love
like,
it.
yeah, I love that title, so fun. And then I was like, yo, you know who would kill this? Wiz. And then I just reached out and he was like, and he sent me, I don't know, I'm not trying to sound biased. That's like my favorite verse like he's ever done. Like I love it.
Yeah, he
Maybe
sounds
it's just 'cause
amazing
so
on
much
it.
shit. But yeah, like he's like spitting though.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. And was that a fun day? Did he come over here to do it?
Actually, that's the one person that I hadn't met that I did work with. But we knew each other. We knew
Yeah.
of each other. We knew all the same people
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And it was just like a matter of time. And then we hit each other up. So we've
Made a personal
met.
connection to some
We met,
degree.
yeah, but not in person.
Chains, you know.
Yeah. First time I met Chains was at Def Jam in the CEO's office when I just signed to Def Jam, and I was like, God damn! And my man is tall; he's like 8'9", and he stands up and he's like, yeah! He like gave me like a 2 Chainz ad lib as I'm meeting him, and he was eating like shrimp lobster pasta, and I was like, yo, this is the most gangsta shit of all time. Yeah, it's really cool.
He's cool, man. Got the cutest dog as well. Trappy, shouts to Trappy. That track's great. And then, of course, Big Sean. And to me on the record, whenever I hear you and Big Sean, I'm like, this is dueling mics.
Yo, yeah.
Like,
it was funny. He called me because I was trying
he's
to
like, he reminds me of you and you remind me of him in the sense that both of you will get on the mic and just be like, I am not leaving nothing.
Yeah.
Like, off.
I told him, because I hit him and I was like trying to get the verse from him forever, because he's a busy guy. And I was like, I need that shit. I was like, come on, dog, I gotta master my shit, let's go. And so he sent me the verse and I'm like, this is insane, yo, this is like so crazy. Like, you making me, I gotta rap, da-da-da. And he calls me, he goes, hey, don't be trying to out-rap me, Logic.
This is what I'm saying, though. And this
Don't be trying to out-rap me, Logic.
You almost. So, speaking about rap, and we're talking about it, I think back to 2013, I think about the freshman list.
Yeah, wow.
And that cover.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you at the time?
Everything, bro.
Yeah.
When I found out that I was a freshman, oh my God, I screamed. My manager called me. I'll never forget. It was because back in 2010, sleeping on my boy's couch, I was like, in 2013, I remember saying, I did an interview, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's not on the internet, but I did an interview with this dude from back home, and I was like, in 2013, I'm gonna be a freshman. And then it happened, and my manager called me, and I was in Rockville, Maryland, still living there. And he calls me, and I'm like, well, yo, what's up, man? Why are you calling me so early? And he's like, what's up, freshman?
Wow.
And he said that to me, and it was
Wow.
like everything. Like, that was the epitome. That was like, if I could be a freshman, like, oh my God. Because you see Cuddy and Cole and Crit, and you see Mac Miller and Wiz, and like, you just go off all these
No,
incredible...
fair play, man. It's a real mark, without a doubt. But I think about the people that are on that cover with you, and it was a great list. I mean, Bronson,
Oh my
still
God.
thriving.
Travis.
Travis. Schoolboy Q.
Q, yeah, Absol.
Absol.
So many amazing
Angel
artists.
Hayes was on there.
Yeah.
Was on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. And I think about like some of those artists and what they've gone on to achieve as well. And if you've ever had a chance to reconnect with any of those guys after that shoot, in process, and how it feels to charter them too, because it does unify an era.
Yeah,
a generation of artists.
It really is like a class. It's like, like almost like people you went to high school with in a way. Man, I remember doing that with Travis and being like, no, I'm always very nervous to go up to other artists because I respect them so much. And like, especially if I'm a fan and I just don't want to bug them, bother them. And then also I don't want to be like disappointed if they're like an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Travis and just like kind of being nervous because he was with good music and yay. And I was like this little fucking dude from Gaithersburg, Maryland, and going up to him and he was just cool as and then I went on tour and then he like came out to a show and we're in Portland going off and like, it's stuff like that, man. And when you see those people later and see what they've accomplished, and it's just really special.
Speaking of good, there was a pretty influential tour for you, and I think for people who witnessed it and talk about this day, which was when you went out with Cuddy.
Bro. Yo,
Now Cuddy is like on Future and Kanye and key other artists that are around and always adding a cornerstone beyond music of influence in terms of, the transparency and willingness to put it all on record.
Yeah, but that dude like inspired me to talk about like anxiety or mental health or all these things. Like he was the dude that was like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to talk about these things and go through these things, especially now. Because like I said, I've been made to feel terrible or this or that about being emotional or whatever the case may be, which is, to me, it's almost like Neanderthal. It's like such a backwards way of thinking.
You're right, man. And to have somebody
somebody around you like Cuddy, who's an artist that you respect, and realize that he or she are able to guide you through that with some wisdom must have been precious.
And so I had that just through his music in general. But like to meet him, he's the reason why I always introduce myself as Bobby now. You know, when he came up to me, he was like, "Hey, I'm Scott." I was like,
to me, you're Cuddy.
I was like, boy, like, so it was amazing to like, no, you're just a fucking dude. You're right. And you just taught me that you're a fucking guy. And when you step to the mic, you're a god. You're the bomb. You're the best. You're the greatest alive.
You know, if you Google Logic, or at least on my computer, if you Google you, I go and see what other people have searched for, what the context is, and you know, it's Childish Gambino, it's Drake, it's an era of artists, a generation which are achieving great things, yourself included. And I wonder how that makes you feel, because I know that each one of you, I could get myself in trouble with this, so I'll go through it gently, but I think each one of those three artists in particular have at some point felt like you're not getting your props.
Oh, without question.
When Drake released If You're Reading This, that was backup Drake. Like, you guys aren't taking me seriously. Childish has been that. Mm-hmm. You've been that.
Yeah.
And all three of you now are kind of, you've arrived.
Yeah, 100%.
You've made it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what your thoughts are being associated with artists to that degree, and whether or not you agree. That feels like your generation in some respects.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are where they are because they always stayed them no matter what, you know? Like Drake just shows me nothing but love. And like, I was back in that basement, sitting on that couch, like nowhere to live, homeless, listening to his music as a fan, like being inspired by him. Same with Childish Gambino, especially now as an actor. You know what I mean? And seeing these transitions that they have. And so it's like Drake doesn't realize in many ways he was like the big brother I never had. And he set the example and paved the way for me to be myself. And so it's like now, you know, whether I'm at the Grammys or I'm here or there or whatever, and it's like, he'll show me love or be like, good job, or that's dope, or congratulate me on a release. It's like, man, you know, people don't realize what that's like, what that means. You know, I don't think anybody can, unless you have made it to this level, to know that like the love and respect of somebody that inspired you to that degree. It's just, it's really insane. And I think, we've all had that moment, you know, those people who are in that tier of like, but don't f with me, like, I am here, I have arrived, this is what it is.
Yes.
And people are always gonna say whatever they want to say, but they're just gonna be saying whatever they want to say while we're living our lives. Right.
Do you have any reason to go back to Maryland like that?
Yeah, see my family.
And what's the relationship like with them now that you've?
It's a lot better. It's definitely a lot better. You know, there's just certain members of my family that I just don't really talk to and never did really talk to, so it doesn't really make sense. And there's even members of my family that aren't bound by blood that I love to go home and see, man. Yeah. I love going there. I love touring there. One of my favorite places is there. I don't want to say where it is because then I'll blow it up.
But it's amazing that you can to have lived your life, and of course, you know, when you go through experiences like that, you can't divorce yourself from those wholesale, but a lot of times it can bring back difficult memories, traumatic experiences, and for you to be able to make peace with that and go back there and see it as something that is a part of your future, as opposed to a bad memory from your past, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think dealing with things rather than internalizing them is always good, and being able to go back to places where things have happened, like, you know, it's really crazy. Like, oh, this is the first place I ever shot a gun. And that's what's really funny, because people like the perception of like me because of how I look or this or that. But it's like, and this is the first place I ever cooked crack. That was crazy. Learning how to use baking soda and like whatever you know, and this is where, you know, up things have happened, but this is also where great things have happened. You know what I mean? This is like where I first made out with a girl, or and like, you know, these fun memories as well. And yeah, it's always great to go back home because it lets you know that you ain't
Well, you said on the record to some degree on that on Every Day, you know, it's amazing. The song was this kind of triumphant, almost victory lap post 1-800. Yeah. And yet, thematically, if you listen to it, what you're doing is questioning what that success has brought you and asking those questions. And the trade, you know, that kind of success, what kind of sacrifice do you have to make?
I sacrificed my 20s to be here, you know, and that's really crazy, like, to think that, you know, like, I went to the bar for the first time like a couple months ago or something like that. Like, that's crazy, you know? It's like, and then going and realizing like, oh, this is nice. Like, it's not that I'm going to get faced or anything. You just go and you're meeting people and it's very nice and it's a really just cool thing to do. And so but I've sacrificed so many elements of just social situations and meeting people, and especially outside of music, because all I've done is consumed myself in the craft. And I think that's in no way, I think that's why I'm the greatest at what I do.
How far in advance do you think, though? Do you think like 5, 10 years? Do you think kids? Do you think a different era in life?
I think about all of it, yeah. I think about music, I think about film, I think about this, and then it stretches, you know, because I'm already on my like 3rd film from my 4th novel that I'll want to, like, and it's just, people look at me and they're like, yo, chill out. They're like, you got so much going on. But yeah, I do, I think about that. I think about children, I think about just anything and nothing, you know, like who knows what's to come. Because you do all this planning, and at the same time, anything could happen, whether it's a positive or a negative.
Let's go downstairs and see the lab.
All right.
This feels so studio.
Yeah.
This is like such a studio.
Yeah, I love how you go from like just upstairs chilling with the homies to this.
This is deep, man. With the Batman logo in the back there.
Yeah, it's the Batcave, dog.
I don't think that it's the Batcave.
Yeah.
I don't think you've applied any kind of alter ego to. Have you done a Marvel alter ego yet?
No, I haven't.
I mean, Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, but yeah, Marvel made one of their. I had one of those album, like the hip hop covers. They did that with me. So
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty rad.
Would
But
you
no,
ever? I mean, would you dive deeper into that, because you seem like such. That seems like a real thing for you, is the idea of fantasy and the way that you can tell stories based on reality better through kind of characters sometimes than you can in your own way.
Without question, yeah. I mean, even, you know, the Incredible True Story, the second album was very like
very much so.
sci-fi and stuff. And yeah, I think I'd love to get into that. I think that's why I'm really stoked to do film and even novels now, even though those are more based on like real life and different things like that.
Well,
But
can we stop and talk about those for a bit? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're going to announce these things as and when you're ready, but like, okay, let's talk about the novel first. Is this
Yes.
some kind of biography to some degree, or is it a true story?
No, it's a work of fiction, but it's all stems from from my life, and it's basically, it's funny because it's about a guy who's writing a book for the first time as I'm writing a book for the first time. Yeah, so I'm on literally the last stage of editing it. It's all, the story's all done, everything's finished, and then just
Can you tell us
going
what it's
through.
called?
It's called Supermarket. Yeah, and I actually worked in a supermarket. I worked in a couple supermarkets.
Did you? Couple
Yeah,
supermarkets?
Dude, I worked in supermarkets. I worked at Wingstop.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sucked.
Jiffy Lube. I even worked at a flower shop for this
That must have
Korean
been nice.
family.
That's creative.
Annyeonghaseyo. Yes. Yeah, it was cool. It was,
That's bad on the fingers.
Yeah, yo, roses. But I remember when, I would always listen to Graduation because it was around the time that came out. And so, yeah, I would like basically be dethorning all the roses.
Plus
and
listening to Kanye.
listen to Kanye.
Speaking of movies, you danced around there a little bit with me and were like, I'm going to get into this, I'm working on this, I'm going to do this, this is
Yeah.
going to happen. And then, so here we are. So we're
Yeah.
talking about what you've been doing in the film world now, manifesting that destiny.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm working on this. It hasn't been announced yet. I can't wait until it's announced. I'm really excited for
Okay,
it.
but well, you skirt around it. But
I'll give you a little something.
Give us
So
what we can.
basically, I wrote a film, and I was going to fund it myself. For like probably around like $5 million because I wanted it to be a really fun indie. For example, like a Juno, Ellen Page, Michael Cera was about $6 million film.
Yeah.
So super dope indie. It's a comedy. And then I went and spoke to somebody that I revere and really appreciate in film, and he was
Producer, director, actor, like.
somebody. That's all I'll say.
That's the best. I just know
yeah.
when to ask the next
And he was basically like, you wrote a movie? He's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, let me read it. And he gave it to his people, and they were all like, this is insane. We want to make your movie. And now, yeah, so I'm doing it. But I'll give you the exclusive later.
Okay, cool.
But
All right,
yeah.
we'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
So this place is great. So this is obviously where you do all your recording. I'd imagine this is where it all happens, except for the Marshmallow joint. Did you go to Marshmallow and do that joint?
No, I did that here, actually.
that here?
Actually, you know what's crazy, bro, is I was like, me and Marshmello had known each other for a while. I really respected him. We met, and then he was like, we should do something together. And I was like, okay. But like thinking like, I don't really know about like EDM stuff or this or that, but it was like not, he was like, no, I have like the EDM flavor and all this stuff, but I can put something together. And I was like, let's do it. And then before I knew it, he sent me a beat, and the first beat he sent was that. And then I, on my phone, did the melody right there. He sent it to me, I'm on my laptop, and then every day, yeah, and I just started like coming up with it. And then I sent him the memo on my phone, and then he calls me like, bro, all my homies have been singing just from that one melody, like they all remember it. And then I got home, and just knocked it out. I was literally like ready to go. I was gonna have some fun. I was like, let's do this, man.
So
Let's
your
make it
engineer
fun.
is always here. The door's always open.
Yeah.
So ready to go.
Bobby.
Yeah. So everything is. His name's Bobby as well.
name's Bobby, yeah.
So everything's turned on. Do you work to a schedule or do you just work when inspiration strikes?
I work whenever inspiration strikes, you know. Sometimes you try to keep it like, hey, let's do a couple days this week. So we'll generally like
And Six works here as well.
Six
Seems-
works here.
Wow.
He works a lot at his crib too. He'll just like be on his laptop. He just makes beats, man. He has fun. But yeah, I mean,
Great beats.
you know, we even went to Maui. I went to Maui and set up to work on some music there.
Just cause?
Yeah, it's not out yet. And then
Whoa,
from there,
whoa, pull up Selector. We love
know.
Selector.
you know.
Come on now.
But no, I mean, I've got
Do you know what I do for a living?
I got music.
I ask questions.
I got a lot of music.
I ask questions.
So I went to Maui and recorded, and then from Maui I went to Tokyo, which I've always wanted to go there, and I
Yeah.
actually got this
Yeah.
tattoo while I
I
was
noticed
there.
that.
Yeah, this one
What does it
says
mean?
Kill Bill,
Yeah.
which is the, you know, Tarantino, and one of my favorite movies that inspired me. And through that film, I discovered the RZA, who did the soundtrack,
Mm-hmm.
which inherently then I discovered Wu-Tang Clan, and then through that hip hop.
And
so
you met
that's-
RZA?
Yo, had dinner with RZA.
Oh.
Cool. Awesome guy, the Abbot, the God.
Yeah.
And then this one
Bobby Doolittle.
said, here, let me just take off this. This one says Ultra 85, so which is, you know, the last album.
Is that Maui? Is that Ultra 85 Maui? Is that are they connected?
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. What?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go out, you may as well go out in Maui.
One thing that was really dope is
Fiji.
it was all original music. I mean, it was all live instrumentation. And James Brown meets the Chili Peppers, like crazy, like super dope vibe, you know.
So you assembled some players.
Travis Barker on the drums every
Wow.
song. Crazy. But anyway,
Wow,
that's another
see?
time.
I'll take it, man.
Okay.
Thank you. That's cool. We'll draw a line through that one, but I does appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. We're looking forward to all that to come. Let's go up to Half Pipe, man. Let's get this.
Okay.
This is a great spot, though. Well, now you're having fun. Think about all
Yeah.
the things you can do.
I mean, I'm pretty excited because, you know, I might
Say
be doing
it.
some arenas, you know. But anyway, on my own. But, you know, might be tour coming or something. Anyway, honestly, you know who I really want to go on tour with? Drake. That'd be fun as I always thought about that because I feel like that'd be super dope.
You seem just really at peace. And
Bro,
happy
I'm
with
so happy, bro. I have everything I could have ever wanted in my life, bro. Like, do you understand? I could tour the world. I can do movies, books, chill, take care of my family. Like, I'm stoked. Look at this guy. He's killing it right here. Dude,
I loved it.
thanks, man.
It was a pleasure talking with you, man.